Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the OuTPost Racing League's Win Cash Wednesday series. And we're live from beautiful virtual Oswego, New York for round number 2. My name, of course, Mac Nelson. I'll be making all the calls, pushing all the buttons, your lone voice in the booth here tonight. As for your race official, much like last week, going to go to Cody Lewis. He will be running your race control here tonight, making all the calls out on track, while I make them all from up here in the booth. We arrive just in time for heat race number 1 to grid up and get started. And with that being said, we'll go through that right now. In pole position, it's Mr. Aiden Lewis in the number 55 super late model. We're at the supers tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Unlike last week, we were in the pros. We now sit in the super late models. So it's going to be a whole different beast when it comes to driving. Jace Govan is going to start outside row number 1. Dylan Jones, representing Midwest Sim Sports, alongside Aiden Lewis. He will be in P3. William Thayer going to be in P4. Daryl Bass in the number 90. Part of Twisted Speed, he sits in P5 with Nate Wimhoff sitting outside row number 3. Dwayne Hobbs and J.D. Renfro are going to make up row number 4 with Tim Graham and T.J. Boyd rounding out heat race number 1. We are at Oswego, New York, originally a horse racing track. Ran by the Teresi family now, and they host the Budweiser Classic, opened back in 1935, all the way back when. Next event is just a little open practice session on May the 29th. So if you're in the surrounding area, go have a look. Round 3 is going to be at Lanier. Round 4, Eldora Speedway. Round number 5, Lucas Oil Speedway. But these drivers have got a lot to worry about here tonight in the form of Oswego before they even start thinking about those other tracks. It's time to go green, so that means we'll head up into our spotting tower. All the way back there is going to be Aiden Lewis. He gets us started. As now down the front straight, or back straight now, I apologize, into turns number 3 and 4. Aiden Lewis is absolutely hauling. We've got 10 laps here, ladies and gentlemen. And then that is going to be it. We'll run multiple heat races here tonight, taking 24. That is going to be a yellow flag already. It looks like it might be Nate Wimhoff who had a little bit of a problem. Let's go back and take a look. As you can see, Nate Wimhoff in the number 48. Yeah, just could not get his car to turn in. Oh, there goes a tire. pretty much the opposite direction of what you would think. That is going to be an unlucky day at the office for Nate Wimhoff. There is your leader, Aiden Lewis. Chase Coven in the 0-4, going to be right behind him. JD Renfro already up 2 spots from P8 to P6. Remember, we take the top 3, so if you finish on the podium, you are through to the feature. What a fantastic opportunity that would be for someone like Chase Coven, who I don't think got to race with us last week. And already, just a little side note, I am very, very pressed that the spotting tower for the broadcast here is all the way on one end in turn 1 of the track. I tried, fixing it to a more centralized location. Unfortunately, I just could not get it to work. I'm not good with the custom cameras here in the iRacing official service, so that one was a strange one for sure. Now here we have Aiden Lewis waiting for the perfect moment. He's going to go pretty much at the direct beginning of turn number 4. We are green. Look at the moves from Daryl Bass, the Twisted Speed driver, and the number 90 working his way around the bottom. He's going to wash up big time. That's going to spell disaster for the 04 of Chase Coven and the 13 of JD Renfro. They are now going to go to blows, and look at Dylan Jones in the number 22 trying to insert himself into the picture. He is going to crunch his front bumper up. That is going to be him out. Got back to the pits off of a tow quick enough for the yellow to not come out. So well done on him for that. The 04 and the 33 continuing to battle. It's Chase Coven, and it's also JD Renfro. Side by side down into turns number 1 and 2. It's going to be slider line for Coven. JD Renfro gonna hit the switchback, I'm sure. They're going to be doing that for a couple more times now, but it's just a normal sort of switchback from Chase Coven this time. No slider to go beforehand. He just had the momentum around the top side there. And JD Renfro, although he is up in the positional standings, it looks like he's sort of experimenting out there. He doesn't exactly know what's going to be fast, but I think he has just found it. Look at the coverage he's getting over Chase Coven. That's going to be a 0.6 of a second lead from what was just shoulder to shoulder a few seconds ago. Now we look towards the hot seat here. Willie T, William Thayer. JD Renfro is on a legendary run these last few laps. Oh man, what a sight it would be. As the white flag comes out, what a sight it would be if JD Renfro can get this one. Oh, but he's going to run a little deep. He's going to brush up with the wall. That's going to kill all of his momentum, and it looks like Willie T is going to be the one advancing. Aiden Lewis crossing the line. Daryl Bass, and yes, William Thayer going to secure that third and final transfer spot here in heat race number 1. So fantastic work from those guys. JD Renfro, so close. What a legendary run from him. As we now look forward to heat race number 2 now. As we see the drivers lining up. Your pole sitter is that man right there, Mike Augustine, and we'll get the grid for our second heat race pulled up. Gonna be Mike Augustine and Jeffrey Hyatt in the front row. Kevin Horner, Chase Copeland making up row number 2. Aaron McGee inside row number 3 with James Murphy, the Twisted Speed driver, outside row number 3. Johnny Tucker and Aaron Bowman are going to make up row number 4 with Zachary Martin representing Infamous Raceworks. He had a good week last week. He will look to continue this run of form heading into week number 2. But all eyes are on that man right there, Mike Augustine, representing TCM. Posting an impressive 7,000 I rating here. He is the real deal. As these drivers get set. Oswego long oval, man. These pace laps. The timing as a broadcaster, just that internal clock in my head is all messed up when we come here. iRacing official pace stroke gonna make its way into the safety of the pit lane. Mike Augustine has the button. He's gonna push it early. We are green for our second 10-lap heat here at Oswego. Here goes Copeland. Already around that top side. He's gonna give Kevin Horner and James Murphy a run for their money. Chase Copeland, all too familiar with battling with these Twisted Speed guys. Kevin Horner, always going to be a talent you see towards the front. As well as, oh no, Mike Augustine, a horrible corner from him. That's going to clog everything up. The top 5 cars are so close to each other with that 2x2 cube consisting of Copeland, Augustine, Murphy, and Horner. Side by side for Mike Augustine and Chase Copeland. Now Jeffrey Hyatt, who's been on a very impressive run of form these past 3 weeks. He is going to continue to feel the speed as Mike Augustine gets back out in front of Chase Copeland. And he now has to work on Jeffrey Hyatt here. 6 laps to go. That time by. Chase Copeland going to post the fastest lap of the race with a 17.63. So watch out for him as we get into the second half of this heat race. He could be a driver to watch, although he is already in the transfer spot. Here comes James Murphy looking to get himself into a transfer spot. But it looks like the 65 Twisted Speed machine just can't seem to hook it up going into the corner. Out of the corner, he's blazing quick. But the entries just feel a little shallow. As your top 3 going to be bunched back up, Mike Augustine did end up getting around Jeffrey Hyatt. So it's going to run Augustine, Hyatt, and then Copeland. James Murphy will not quit. He will not give up early. He is going to push till the final lap until he sees that checkered. He is nothing but pushing. As, oh no, that's going to be a connection issue for James Murphy now. As we'll have to see. White flag is out. Mike Augustine looks like he is set for a debut heat race win here at Oswego. Here in New York, the super late model driver going to get it done. That's Mike Augustine, Jeffrey Hyatt, and Chase Copeland making it through. James Murphy missing out. A driver who you usually never see enter a consolation. He is normally a lock from the heat. As it looks like we will not be running any because of the unfortunate. But hey, if you want to race here in the Outpost Racing League's Win Cash Wednesday races, all you got to do is join the Discord and apply on the league on iRacing. I apologize. 5532 is the league ID. Get yourself applied. You can come out here and race for $20 next Wednesday when we head to Lanier. That is going to do it for the heats. We have a 5-minute warm-up, and then we will get racing in the feature. So we will be right back here with the Win Cash Wednesdays round number 2 live from Oswego on the Outpost Racing Network.
He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on. Going the long way around, we're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it. They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging. And to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
There might be some rain coming through. We expect rain soon. Rain is close. The session has been declared wet. No sign of this rain stopping. clearing up. Rain should be gone for now. Nothing but sunshine all day.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Outpost Racing Network. Here we have the Win Cash Wednesdays round number 2 starting grid. We've got 70 laps here around Oswego. These super late model drivers are going to have to navigate this tricky track, and with an extended race like 70 laps, I think it's really going to test them. Here's your starting grid for our feature race. Aiden Lewis is going to be on pole with Mike Augustine, rounding out your pole row. Row number 2, Daryl Bass and Jeffrey Hyatt, with Willie T and Chase Copeland making up row number 3. JD Renfro and James Murphy going to be in row number 4 with Chase Coven and Kevin Horner. Rounding out row number 5, Nate Wimhoff and Aaron McGee are going to make up 11th and 12th respectively, with Dwayne Hobbs and Aaron Bowman filling out row number 7. TJ Boyd, who got a podium a few weeks ago in the No Limit Racing Crown Jewel Tour, he will be in 15th with Zachary Martin in P16. Tim Graham in P17 with Johnny Tucker in P18, and starting at the rear, going to be Dylan Jones in that number 22. Drivers are going to have to be very, very careful that they don't use up all their tires too early at a long and mostly flat track like we have at Oswego here. It's going to be very important that drivers are setting their car correctly in the corner. Aiden Lewis, much like Heat 1, is going to get us started here at week number 2, round number 2, whatever you want to call it. We're here at Oswego, and it's already going to be a big battle between Aiden Lewis and Mike Augustine here to open us up. Daryl Bass and Jeffrey Hyatt are going to war. Chase Copeland also trying to stick his nose in the picture of these. This is going to be a battle for P3. Mike Augustine getting the early advantage over Aiden Lewis. Mike Augustine out to a fantastic start, but it's still a little bit of a skirmish going on a few cars back. This once again for P3. Jeffrey Hyatt, Chase Copeland. Here comes James Murphy. After not getting the result he wanted to in heat race number 2, he has come out with a vengeance. He is ripping the top early. And that Twisted Speed driver doing everything in his power to wheel that car around. You don't typically see the top line being fast early on in the race, but here at Oswego, anything can happen when it comes to the track degradation. And how the track gets worn in, it's now going to be 3 wide for this 3rd position. Our final step on the rostrum, and we've got Chase Copeland, who is notorious for ripping it around the top. He now finds himself feeding at the bottom. Jeffrey Hyatt, still going to be the lead car between these 3. Cannot sleep on the 90 of Daryl Bass, or the 12 of Kevin Horner for that matter. He had a very, very quick last lap, rivaling Mike Augustine's time. So look for him to be making some moves here in the early portions of this race. Johnny Tucker and Aaron McGee are battling it out for P12. That's going to be on the bottom side. of Dwayne Hobbs there in the black and pink. 159. J.D. Renfro, who we saw earlier on in the night. He's suffering big time, down 3 spots from P7 to P10. Aiden Lewis has dropped all the way down to P3 as James Murphy is on a huge run right now, 6 spots up already. He is in P2 and chasing down Mike Augustine. The only problem is Mike Augustine is already a second and a half up the road. So early dominance looking like Mike Augustine here as Aiden Lewis gets around. I believe Chase Copeland might have had that position for a split second, but I believe Aiden claimed it back with haste. As Jeffrey Hyatt starting to fall back now, which is something we don't see, or at least we haven't seen in the last few weeks. Now, we did see it Monday Night Championship race. We saw it for a second in the NLR Crown Jewel Tour from Knoxville, Iowa Monday night. Jesse Newsom claimed that championship. $700 to the winner, I believe, so that is a good chunk of change for the man that's already earned a pretty lump sum here in the dirt racing community. But now we look towards the top, and Mike Augustine, he is going to get almost no airtime tonight, but it's going to be because of the best situation possible. He is straight up running away with it. But James Murphy is sort of doing the same thing for these guys that are battling for P3. Darrell Bass has now replaced what was Jeffrey Hyatt just a few laps ago in that battle for P3. Chase Copeland has the advantageous position, being higher up on the track than Aiden Lewis. He's going to stretch the legs of that super late model. And he is going to get clear of Aiden Lewis. And now Darrell Bass is wanting to have an attempt there at Aiden Lewis. So it's going to be pretty stretched out, pretty clean racing for the most part. I mean, we have a few battles here and there, but for the most part, all these cars are starting to find their own groove, and they're really starting to spread out pace-wise. I did read something a few weeks ago that Oswego was one of the bottom 3 tracks in usage rate on the iRacing official service, so that might have to do something. That might have something to do with it. These drivers might just not be familiar with the track presented to them tonight. But it looks like for the likes of these top 2 drivers, Mike Augustine and James Murphy, this might be a little pocket pick for them. Like maybe they put an extensive amount of time in here at this track. Because of the low usage rate, if you put in just a little more practice than the average person, you should be pretty fast compared to them here on the track, and we're seeing it. We are absolutely seeing it here tonight. Aiden Lewis now going again at Darrell Bass. Aiden Lewis has been in an absolute war zone all night. He has been nothing but either under pressure or forcing the pressure on another driver, and that's what it's all about here. There's no championship points, ladies and gentlemen. No long-term commitment. You just join and you race. $20 to the winner, and that is that. So very interesting showing here from these drivers, laying it all out on the line, I should say. There I go, mixing up my words again. Chase Copeland in the 110 now. Whoa, Darrell Bass throwing it in from way downtown. That was never going to work, unfortunately. He is now battling with Willie T. And Darrell Bass, surprisingly, actually going to be able to match the momentum presented to him by the 63 car. Willie T going to go washed up high into the wall. But he is going to have the momentum on Darrell Bass. They are trading blows right now. 46 laps to go. We've still got a good distance here. These drivers never giving up, though, never resting. As we look back towards the top, in focus now is James Murphy, and you see on the bottom of your screen there, going to transition to the top. Mike Augustine is pretty far away. However, the lead over the last 10 laps, the Delta has done nothing but drop by a 10th in favor of James Murphy. So for these drivers, Mike Augustine and James Murphy throwing down pretty much identical times. Chase Copeland, unfortunately, just going to be about a tenth and a half behind. And part of that has to do with the battling that he has to do. He has to defend from Aiden Lewis and Darrell Bass. So not a desirable position for Chase Copeland. He needs to push. He needs to get out in front. But he also needs to defend his position, and that is going to be our first yellow flag of the night. Looks like it might be Mr. Nate Wimhoff. We'll take a look. Yeah, that's going to be him up into the wall. He's going to lose his front bumper, and he is just going to be forced to come to a stop. And that is going to bring out the yellow flag. Unfortunate, though, because everybody was running so well. Everyone was having their moments out on track, and it was showing. As these drivers get lined back up, I'm going to step away for just a second, get myself a drink of water. You're watching In Cash Wednesday races hosted by the OuTPost Racing League here on the OuTPost Racing Network. Green flag in the air, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Augustine still out to a fantastic job, and much to my expectation. The cautions are going to breed the cautions. Yellow flag out once again. We'll go take a look. As, yeah, Dwayne Hobbs just ends up around. As I was expecting a little more than that, to be honest with you. That will be our second caution of the night. Very, very interesting to see how things shake up now. Mike Augustine maybe not going to have that momentum that he had just a few minutes ago. Being stopped by one caution, but immediately stopped by another. Not going to be ideal for anybody who might be trying to win a race. Once you enter that flow state, you don't want to leave it. You don't want to be disturbed. I mean, everybody remembers the Kimi Räikkönen clip back in the day, the onboard radio. You know, shut up, I know what I'm doing. Stop talking. It's kind of like that, but in the sense of you don't want to be slowed down. You don't want your pace to be changed up by something like a caution. We're doing so good, and now you have time to sit here and think about it. And think about it, that just really becomes a mental block to a lot of drivers. Going to be interesting to see how these drivers play. It's going to be Mike Augustine and Chase Copeland. We're going to be bringing it round out of turn number 4. Mike Augustine throws it down into the corner. They're 3 wide. That's for P5. Look at Dylan Jones, I believe it is. Or it might be Mr. Horner there, or maybe... I was going to say it could be Jeffrey Hyatt, but no, it looks like advantage is going to go to Dylan Jones in that number 22. That is for P5. Mike Augustine already a couple car lengths ahead of Chase Copeland. A few laps away from crossing the half point of this race. Now Chase Copeland looking to fend off once again from Aiden Lewis. The number 55 has been in the horn of 110 all night long, and we are going to have our 3rd caution of the night. This time it looks like it might be Kevin Horner. Maybe J.D. Renfro, as well as, oh, it looks like the 63 of Willie T. Oh, no, not exactly what you want to see. Drivers are being taken out of their comfort zone. Everybody was running so well. Now the mistakes are just starting to flow in. That is definitely not what you like to see. As we get set to go again here at Oswego. Going to be starting for a 4th time here tonight. As the iRacing official pace truck going to more than likely only make its way down. One more time before we go racing here at Oswego. The beautiful liveries on display there. There's the 110 of Chase Copeland. The wrap on his picture is a little off. It is, that was a few months ago when he ran that scheme. Not entirely sure why the SDK pulled that one now. There we see DJ Boyd, who is up 5 spots here in this race. Started off in P15. He now sits in P10. Beautiful look from our trackside camera crew there of his number 15. A lot of beautiful cars on display here. Aaron McGee always rocks a clean number 8. Aaron Bowman in that black and gold 44. That is my favorite color scheme. Without a doubt. Drivers now gonna box it up. Mike Augustine once again going to pull the button right outside of turn number 3 there. And the start he gets, his launches into turns 1 and 2 are just incredible. There we see Chase Copeland in the 110. Ripping it around the top side. As now Dylan Jones has a chance to make some noise. Look at him. He's around the outside. He's going to try to tap the wall. It's not going to convert. Mike Augustine still now in the lead. In that leading spot. He's now sitting in P1, much like he has been. Big wreck behind. Oh, no. How many drivers is that going to claim? Hey, Boyd, Aiden Lewis, Nate Wimhoff, Eric, Kevin Horner, James Murphy, Wayne Hobbs, and Zach Martin, I believe. Oh, no. Gotta get a look at this. As, oh no, it looked like it might have started with Aiden Lewis there. Run that back. Oh, so coming around the corner was the 22 of Jones. He's going to have a big hit with the wall. That's going to cause Aiden Lewis to have a big moment. And then from there, it was just collection agency. Look at that. I believe that's the number 124. Zach Martin, I believe he's the one that comes out injured. If that's even the words you say for it. Oh my goodness. Though a lot of drivers going to have to go to the pit. Get some damage on that repaired. I believe we had a little bit of an issue with the stream. A little bit of a buffer situation. Shout out to my internet service provider. Always giving me the absolute worst service possible. Mediacom, by the way. Don't ever get them. Let me tell you that. As for some reason, the timing tower has Aaron Bowman ahead of everybody in that number 44. I'm not sure what happened there. But he is going to be sitting back in the back, so I'm sure everything's going to work out eventually, as Mike Augustine's still going to be nailed to that bottom line as we start our race. And the timing tower is going to be a little messed up, guys, because of that black flag. So give it just a second. As soon as they cross the line here, Mike Augustine will go back to the front. And it's going to be Mike Augustine and Chase Copeland. 33 laps to go. They look to be in the driver's seat. James Murphy not going to like the sound of that sentence, though. Twisted speed driver, very, very quick. Who we saw be very quick in the No Limit Racing Crown Jewel Tour. Also, week number 1. I don't believe he was actually here for week 1. So I believe this is the WCW debut of James Murphy. And what a display he is showing here. He does have Daryl Bass trying to force some sort of pressure in behind him. Not going to work, however. He got the turns 1 and 2 line all wrong. As Aaron McGee is now going to be trying to vie for that 4th place spot. He sits at the end of our top 5, but look at JD Renfro. Had a little bit of a quieter start to the race, but he is up towards the front now when it matters. 30 laps to go, 29 as soon as Mike Augustine crosses the line right now. So drivers are going to have to start getting into a position where they can force the issue. They can force those moves and try to get to the front, but with all due respect, it might be for Nye, gentlemen. Because Mike Augustine has been on an absolute tear tonight, and he looks the favorite. Without a doubt in probably anybody's mind here. Chase Copeland's going to try to flip that propaganda around. He is going to try to catch our leader here, Mike Augustine, who boasts an incredible 7,000 I rating. James Murphy going to be the only one here higher with 82.72. as that is pretty impressive, man. Getting that high of an I rating is definitely very, very cool. Me, I sit at a humble 1600. I wouldn't want to force my wrath on the competition too hard. So just keep that in mind next time you see me in one of those hosted races. You see me in a hosted, maybe a Peter Neuter session. You never know. Shout out SLR. You might see me in there, and let me tell you, I'm like Thanos. I have the ability to stomp on everyone. I just don't, man. I promise I don't. As Mike Augustine's going to be taking the reins here at this race here at virtual Oswego, New York. He is going to boast a very impressive 1.5-second lead over Chase Copeland there, the driver of the number 110 representing Midwest Sim Sports. But he is not going to share very many allies as Daryl Bass, Twisted Speed driver, James Murphy, also Twisted Speed driver, right behind them. Aaron McGee still in this final top 5 spot. He's got a long way to go if he wants to try to get the win, and to be honest, it might just be for Nye. Hate to keep using that reference, but I mean, man, not only is it a big gap from Chase Copeland to Daryl Bass, but it's also an even bigger gap from Copeland to Augustine. So Chase Copeland to the rest of the grid right now kind of seems like the final boss. He seems like the guy that should be in front. But you got to go 2 seconds up the road to find the real leader, which is Mike Augustine here in the number 19. As he is still lapping just way quicker than any of the drivers around him. It's actually going to be Aaron McGee and James Murphy in P5 and P4 who are rivaling his time the closest. Chase Copeland is unfortunately slowing down, and that's going to be him hitting the wall. He is going to be running P2 here. Daryl Bass in P3. He is going to throw it down low, maybe try to match up with Chase Copeland. 18 laps left here. James Murphy in the number 65 being pressured by Aaron McGee now. Aaron McGee going to be sticking it to that bottom side, trying to squeeze James Murphy as high up the track as he can, and that's exactly what's going to happen. James Murphy probably going to be a little angry at that one. To be honest, I don't really blame him, as he now looks to recuperate and not compound these mistakes, not compound the concedes, because J.D. Renfro is very, very quickly trying to overtake James Murphy for that P5 position. Mike Augustine now is going to be 3.5 seconds ahead of Chase Copeland. Chase Copeland only 0.6 back is Daryl Bass, so his P2 is definitely under contest, as Daryl Bass is going to be throwing that slider line in, and to be fair, it seems like he's making time. He ran a 1/10.5 quicker than Copeland that last time around. We'll have to see what he's running now, as Mike Augustine is just now starting to bleed a little. He is going to post not the fastest lap for the first time in this race. Or at least in this green flag run. I shouldn't say the entire race, because I'm pretty sure that's not true. But over the past 15, that last lap was the only lap that he did not run the fastest on. That is going to go to who we are watching right now. Daryl Bass, man, he is quick And he is going to give Chase Copeland a whole lot of trouble if the deltas stay similar to how they are now. It's going to be a 2/10 advantage to Daryl Bass that last time around. Aaron McGee is also going to have a little bit of an advantage over Chase Copeland now. So things are starting to get a little spicy here. We might have a little three-way fight for P2 coming up toward maybe our final few laps of the race. But for right now, Mike Augustine is catching the traffic. That's going to be Dwayne Hobbs in the 159. He is going to be receiving the blue and yellow flag. Chase Copeland in the number 110. He is going to be trying to catch up, thinking, hoping maybe the back markers can give Mike Augustine some sort of trouble, some sort of huss or fuss. But as of right now, it's nothing but open track for Mike Augustine, and that's going to extend for more than likely the entirety of the race here. As Chase Copeland's steam has just about ran out. Now, granted, he is still ahead of the rest of the grid, and that starts by a minimum of 1 second back to Daryl Bass. So don't get me wrong, Chase Copeland still is extremely fast here tonight, but just is not going to have what it takes to keep up with Mike Augustine here. Daryl Bass now starting to show signs of weakness a little bit as Aaron McGee is catching up to him. This could be an interesting battle forming for our final spot on the rostrum. Nate Wimhoff and Aiden Lewis a few laps back are having a battle in their race cars. The 48 and the number 55 go into blows, and there's Jeffrey Hyatt down 4 spots from P4 to P8. And how tragic is it that happens to the number 66. He looked so good to start this race. And unfortunately, it looks like his time has come to an end when it comes to the great run of form on Wednesday nights and Monday nights. That's going to be 2 sticks in the air for Barney the Flag Man. 2 laps to go, and unfortunately, we don't see a battle until we get down to P3, but Chase Copeland's had a little bit of a mistake. Maybe falling asleep at the wheel a little bit. Now Daryl Bass is going to catch up. Granted, I don't think it's going to be near enough. But Chase Copeland can't completely coast this thing in yet. As down the back straight, Copeland's going to have the advantage. And Mike Augustine, making his WCW debut, is going to win it in dominating fashion here at Oswego Speedway. Chase Copeland, last week's winner. He is now one of 2 WCW winners. He finishes P2. Daryl Bass is going to get our final podium spot in P3. Aaron McGee with a very impressive night. He finishes P4. James Murphy, the Twisted Speed driver, who at the beginning of the night you would have argued maybe had a quicker car than P5, but after a few mistakes, he brings it back in fantastic fashion, might I add. There is your race winner in all his glory, Mike Augustine. First thing first, we're going to bring our P3 finisher into the booth. Daryl Bass, man, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, bud?
I'm doing good. Now, I've got to ask, Twisted Speed over the course of the last few weeks has been extremely on form in all of their league racing, all their official racing. Coming here tonight, did you kind of have that confidence that, you were going to do well?
Absolutely not. Be honest with you. I threw together a set. I think James threw together a set on the fly during this race to run that. Uh, we've been pretty strong for the last couple of seasons. We just don't do the whole social media thing a lot, and we got some guys that kind of took over that for us to get us out there a little more. Uh, I like to kind of stay under the radar, I guess you'd say, but it's kind of hard to do sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, when you're that successful and that quick, it is definitely hard to do. Now, here at Oswego, we had a little bit of a different track. It kind of developed in a way that you don't really see on the iRacing official service. Now, did that kind of throw you for a loop, or did you like the track you raced on tonight?
I typically like that. I didn't really get to the top much. I put on a set to run basically the last 25, 30 laps for slicker conditions. Just sucks I had to go to the back and fix some damage. I feel like we could have, I don't say we'd have won, but I feel like it would have been a little bit better at the end. I think I had some nose damage too as well, but I'm satisfied, go to the back and come back to P3. I think James went to the back, came back P5. So
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, all the Twin Speed guys seemed to be on their stuff here tonight. They were very, very quick. Now, you got P3. Unfortunately, not going to walk away with any money here tonight. But hey, next week we head to Lanier. Might be able to pocket something there. But before we let you get out of here and celebrate your P3, is there anybody you want to thank or shout out for the performance here tonight?
oh yeah, man, James and Jared Murphy. They kind of the guys behind the scene. I'm not around that much. I don't get to race but a handful of times a week. They tend to run the day to day for me at the shop. They build quite a few sets and they work diligently, man. Customers, they got personal requests. They tweak the sets to their liking. Customers are allowed to test with us. We just try to be different. We're small, but I feel like we produce a good amount of wins for the size we are compared to, CFM or Fusion and Premier, those guys. So just hats off to all my drivers. They've been busting their tails all season and it's starting to show.
Yes, sir. Well, I could not agree more that it is starting to show. Daryl Bass, the number 90 super late model driver here tonight, he claims P3 at Oswego Speedway.
Thank you, Bob.
So good talking to Daryl Bass there. I believe that might be the first time I've ever actually gotten to. So that is very, very cool. Now bringing in our P2 finisher here tonight. Going to be Chase Copeland in the 110, finishing in second here at Oswego. How did it feel?
It felt like garbage. I want to apologize to the sponsors. I want to apologize to the team. I got on and made some tomfoolery for this feature, but that running second against Augie's perfectly fine to me. Augie's one of the best on the sim in my opinion, and I knew he was going to be hard to beat, and he was in Discord with us, and he was messing with me because he thought I was lying. I said I was running top with whenever it was like 20 in or something. I was like, no, I'm running top. I was like, I have no other choice. But yeah, no, it was a fun race. Only a couple cautions here for 70 laps. It was definitely got technical there at the end. I think not resetting the track was kind of a blessing in disguise because I think we ended up with a really good racing surface, and it definitely had some characteristics, and the line changed a lot throughout the feature, so I call that a dub.
And now looking forward towards next week, you got the win week number 1. Beat it to Augie week 2. Week 3, Lanier. Want to be back in the winning lane? Do you want to be in victory lane? Do you think you have the car for it?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about too for next week. I think Augie does build sets for CFM, and I think he kind of hones in on the UMP. So I was kind of hoping for some UMPs, but now that he's in here, I don't know kind of what pros, but he can run anything. So yeah, we're going into Lanier, especially since they revamped it. Racing did. It's been a really good track. It's changed a lot, and I'm looking forward to next week. I think it's going to be some good racing, whether we're in pros, UMPs, or supers.
drivers will be able to vote on that decision starting tomorrow morning. So if you're not in the league, get in. All you got to do is apply on iRacing, join, and you are in. That is it. You can vote for the car each week. Well, Chase, before we let you get out of here and celebrate your P2, is there anybody you want to thank or shout out for the performance here tonight?
Yeah, big shout out to CFM and Jules C Speed Shop. If only I would have just ran one of their baselines, I probably would have not had a 5-second gap on Augie. It might have been a 3 or 2 second gap, but we wouldn't have looked like Ned in the first reader anyway. But shout out to them and all the fast speed that they make day in and day out, and keeping all the teams that are underneath them, moving forward and moving fast, winning officials, winning leagues. All the homies over at Midwest Sim Sports, Aces and Eights for the sick new wrap, and you for putting on these races, man, and all the officials.
Sir, yes, sir. That is going to be your second place driver, Chase Cole, in the 110 for Midwest Sim Sports. Now we get to talk driver making their debut here this week, but he's no stranger to the sim, no stranger to the dirt community. Mike Augustine, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Now, Chase said in his interview that you were messing with him a little bit while you were racing. Tell me how that, contrast is. I mean, you are both racing out there for the win, but, being in a Discord with each other, how's that feel? And is it good vibes?
Oh, yeah. I was down there like putting around on the bottom, just saving tire down there, and I was surprised the way I was pulling away. And I thought he was messing with me the whole time, saying he was running the top of it. In reality, I guess he was, but I don't know. That's set. I just plugged their input fuel in, dude, and that CFM set was on rails.
Yeah, it seems so. I mean, you were dominant at all stages in the race tonight, and you don't really see that nowadays with the current build. You normally see someone who leads maybe the front half of the race, maybe fall off, maybe get a little more comparable the end of the race, but you just seem to have it, like you said, on rails all night. Now, is Oswego somewhere that you like to go? Is it like a pocket pick for you, or did you just show up and run the car?
I'd seen the guys who were in Discord over there, and I kind of forgot this was going on today, and I was like, kind of want to race something, so they told me what they were racing, got in here last second, and here we are. But Oswego, it's a pretty good track. I think it races pretty good, but this track has a lot of my preferred lines. I love running that bottom and that slider line, so this track suits me well. I wouldn't say it's my best, but it's a pretty good track.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think it produced some very, very good racing here tonight. Speaking of that, is there anybody you want to thank or shout out for the performance for the race tonight?
For sure, thank you. DK Motorsports on Twitch, Hypertune by Comp Ready, Victory Seats, Majula Speed Shop, everything Evan, Chris, and Blake does for me over there, and Jeffrey Hyatt for the wrap, TAC 3 Defense, you for the broadcast, and I believe Cody's the one that hosts this thing, so I appreciate him allowing me to come in here and race.
Well, yeah, Cody is the race control. It is actually me. I hate to be that guy.
All right. I didn't know who it was, but appreciate you for the broadcast and putting this on. So I might be here next Wednesday, so it was fun.
Well, it would be an honor, man. It was a fantastic time calling the race here tonight. Mike Augustine, your race winner here in the number 19 Super Late Model. Well, that is going to do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. What a fantastic show that these drivers put on here tonight. And what a fantastic time it'll be next week when we head to Lanier. Remember, if you want to run in, all you gotta do is join the Discord. Link is below, and then join the iRacing League, League ID 5532. I check the invites every day. Get you accepted. You can vote in the Discord starting tomorrow morning. I will have a poll open that lasts for 3 days. Drivers can vote on what they want to run next week at Lanier. But that does it for us here at Virtual Oswego. My name, Mac Nelson. It was an honor to call and push the buttons here for you guys tonight. Thank you for inviting the Outpost Racing League and the Outpost Racing Network into your homes. Win Cash Wednesdays. Catch us next week at Lanier, 7 p.m. CST. Who knows, you might see a new OTPRL winner crowned. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. We'll see you in the next one.